Will the housing market crash? There is a big chunk of consumers out there that are hoping that the market actually does crash so homes become affordable for them. But private equity groups like Blackrock out there have been buying up almost a third of the homes. Private equity groups like Blackrock have been buying up a third of the homes on the market, keeping prices way high. Is there going to be a housing market crash? I've got some statistics and hot and juicy news articles for us to explore. And by the end of this video, your feelings and views on the housing market crash are going to be completely flipped upside down. So let's leave this screen and go into this one. Change up the lights a little bit. Here we go. The housing market is in a recession and it's giving buyers a small window to close a good deal. Now, this is a good deal compared to the last couple years, as we saw people getting multiple offers way over market value for homes because the housing market was completely on fire during the Rona, which confused a bunch of people out there thinking, hey, the Rona would cause the housing market to crash, and no, just the opposite happened. Homebuilder sentiment plunged in July to contractionary levels, signaling a housing market downturn. That is from home builders and new building permits. They have completely pulled back their numbers in terms of volume, causing available homes on the market to dry up. For instance, earlier this week, homebuilders cited rising interest rates and construction costs, some of it supply chain related, as the culprits that have brought on a housing recession. So we're hearing housing crash, we're hearing housing recession. We also have this: 22 of Maryland's 24 jurisdictions reported fewer home sales in July compared to the same month a year ago. July 2022 way down compared to July of 2021. So those are some big stats that are saying, hey, housing market crash is going to happen. It is here. Prices are going to tumble. Things are just going to turn into a big mess. But now let's use some stats and charts and tie this together, because we have a bigger problem in the housing market. And yes, we're going to talk about if the housing market is going to crash. This next part is going to shock you. So I've got the one-year chart up on the screen for the United States existing home sales. This is not new construction because, as we have learned, we are having some supply chain issues. We are having interest rates going up, which means builders' costs are going up. The cost of land itself has gone up, initiating costs. So there we go. A lot of factors on the supply side. But now let's start talking about existing home sales, right? This is completely away from the supply side in terms of new building. Existing, everyone. Over the last year, you could see that, yes, existing home sales in July of 2022, 4810 compared to the 5990. Now, let's see, how does this compare in terms of volume of sales compared to the Rona that we just went through? Oh, check it out. When the Rona first happened, yes, the market completely dried up as complete fear and panic hit the streets and shook the globe. If you look at current times, we're actually pretty close to pre-pandemic levels. That's the 5-year. Now, let's zoom out to the 10-year to put it in perspective. See, on the 10-year, we are just on par with existing home sales. So recent memory is telling us, hey, there was a bunch of homes on the market, 6,500, 7,000. Things were just going crazy. Okay, we can't compare ourselves to Rona crazy. Let's compare ourselves to normal time. Now, the next time frame that we want to look at is the housing market crash of 2008, because that's what all of you here are interested in. Is the housing market going to crash? So let's zoom it out and get 2008 included, and you can see that we have way more existing home sales than we did in the 2008 when the market started going nuts. So we got some stats and news articles that tell us that new home construction is definitely slowing down. They are citing some supply chain as well as interest rate issues. Existing home sales are way low compared to Rona times, but compared to normal market conditions, we are still on par. What about prices of homes? And what if I told you that Blackrock is involved? And that Blackrock is going to prevent a housing market crash. And in fact, Blackrock and other companies like it are going to increase the price of homes. All right, up on the screen right now is the average sale price of homes taken from the St. Louis Fed. Fred, everyone. Yes, all right. So I've got the 1 year up on the screen, and you can see over the last year, the average sale price, right? So if you want to buy a home, if you are starting a new family, getting married, Need to move out of your apartment because you're having kids like my daughter. Yes, everyone, I'm going to be a grandfather. But look at the average price, right? See, plenty of reasons why people would always want to buy a home, right? Their demand will always be there. But check out the prices. $440,000 a year ago. The average price now $525,000. Now let's zoom out a little bit and see how this applies to Rona times. And you can see when the Rona happened and the whole pandemic lockdown, all that kind of crap started. Look, home prices $374,000 on average to $525,000. Now let's zoom out a little bit more, and you can see that homes have almost doubled in prices since 2012. Now let's go to their max data, and you could see in this most recent history, the home prices have gone through the roof. So supply is down. Demand itself is somewhat down. Why? Because interest rates are going up. But what we've learned is that there's always going to be people that are going to be getting married, having kids, want to get out of the rent game and get into the home ownership game, people that get promotions at work, and so forth. A lot of reasons to get into homes. So home prices are going up. Home building is going way down. Existing home sales are going way down. So if you're a home buyer out there and you're like, well, hey, wait a minute, is the housing market going to crash? No, just the opposite is happening. Prices are going up, and it's because of this. Housing market extremely volatile, with private equity accounting for a third of home sales. Private equity groups like Blackrock and others account for 1/3 of the home sales out there. So what these companies are doing are now buying these homes. They have the cash, they have the liquidity. They don't have to worry too much about interest rates because a lot of them have so much cash on hand and can internally finance these projects that they're able to go out and buy with cash, not being affected by these interest rates. So they're going to be able to keep driving the prices of homes up. And in turn, what do, everyone? These private equity groups then, yes, rent these homes out. They will buy all the homes in the area and they will crank up the price of rents. Now, as the price of rent goes up, people are sitting here going, well, wait a minute, I now want to go to buy a house. That will now drive up the amount of demand in that area for people to buy homes. The crazy part is the same private equity groups that bought the homes to then drive it for rent. These private equity groups have also bought homes to flip and sell. So they're making money on both ends. Private equity groups are driving up the prices of homes so dramatically that Congress has to get involved. Congressman introduces bill to discourage large investors from buying homes. Some point to large investors and private equity firms being the high cost of homes. The Saving Homes from Acquisition by Private Equity Act, or the SHAPE Act, would institute a federal tax worth 100% of the value of single-family home being bought when that home is being purchased by a large investor. Ooh, wow, that's rough. All right, I know we covered a whole bunch of stuff in this video, so let's tie it all together, put a nice cute little bow on it, and make it presentable. All right, home volume of sales is going down. Well, yeah, because we had 2 previous years where sales were through the roof. People were freaking out during the Rona, so that caused a total overreach of the market in homes, right? The buying volume was just freakishly nuts. Same thing with cars, everyone. Now, on the supply chain side of that, new builders are not building new homes at the rate they used to. New permits are way, way low, and interest rates mean that the cost for these builders to buy materials, right, is all going up. Interest rates are going through the roof. Now, on the supply side of things, in terms of existing home sales, existing homes, right, are definitely slowing down. Now, if you're a buyer out there, and this is what we start talking about when it comes to will the housing market crash, making homes affordable for you, on the buying side of it, we're seeing private equity groups like BlackRock and others pumping up the price of homes, buying homes in an area up to 1/3 of them. Right? Up to 1/3 of these homes are being bought by private equity groups. They buy these homes, they drive up the price of rent. Then those renters that want to buy homes are buying homes that were already bought by private equity groups, driving the price up even higher. It's a win-win for private equity groups. It is a lose-lose if you are a home buyer out there. So if you're in the market looking to buy a home and you're like, hey, will the housing market crash? Oh my gosh, fingers crossed, I hope it does crash. Well, this is the situation you're looking at. New home prices are up, up, and up. Existing home prices are up, up, and up. Supply is way down. Interest rates are up, which means now your home loan is going to cost more because yes, your interest rates are up, but yes, the price of the homes are up on top of it. So will there be a housing market crash? Will the prices crash? We've already seen a significant drop in volume of sales, indicating a sales volume recession. But in terms of prices, no. Private equity groups like Blackrock and others are going to keep buying up homes in the area. They will go after distressed properties and market-ready properties, buy them out, raise up rent prices, raise up the price of homes, and keep the prices of homes high, negating the idea of a price housing market crash like what we saw in 2008. 2008 was way different, as we had a bunch of people out there buying homes that had no right to buy them because they could not afford them and banks weren't verifying their income or any of their financial statements. That is a way different situation than what we have going on now. Right now, we have a bunch of people that, yes, are still very capable of buying, have a lot of money saved, have good credit scores, but the supply isn't there, and the supply that is there is being bought up by private equity groups, driving up prices, pushing more people out. So no, there will not be a housing market crash as long as companies like Blackrock and others out there see that buying homes, that real estate, is a better investment out there than almost everything else right now.